Bear with me for a minute while I make sure that my iPad is, well, not too loud. I'm going to deafen myself with myself, which is not a good thing. Yep, okay. I know my volume is right, and everything looks okay there. So let's get started. Apologies for you, those of you who were setting your clock at 10 o'clock. I've gone live a wee bit earlier, only because I've got to taking my dad to his CT scan in a couple of hours, and I had a few things to do before then. So yeah, it takes a little bit longer to walk from the car to the hospital these days. So we need to leave a little bit earlier. So anyway, the big day, see how he's travelling. Those of you who haven't been on when I've talked about it, Dad's got mesothelioma, which is the cancer that he picked up decades ago as a electrician on building sites with asbestos in the air. But anyway, so he's going okay with that, but he needs to have one of his regular scans today. Okay, so wish me luck for that. Today I'm going to show you what I've called a triangle fronted fun fold card. I'm not sure what it's called. Actually, have only seen a couple of them on Facebook, on Pinterest. So they're quite an unusual fold. I'm sort of looking around for new folds to feature in my upcoming classes, always looking for something new and a little bit different. This is the one that I made for my example here. So you can see it's basically a sort of a double fold card, but the front has been cut into a triangle. And the designer series paper split between the front and the back. So that's sort of quite unusual. Once I'd made it, I realised that I didn't really like the way it sits open. I don't know if you can imagine that sitting open. That tends to sag a wee bit. So I am going to change this one up slightly. For the one I'm going to show you, I'm going to, rather than this little card opening on the right hand side, I'm going to have it sort of opening at the top, so it sort of swings open like a window rather than like a door, I suppose is what I'm sort of saying. Yeah, so we'll change it slightly. Excuse me, frog in my throat. And also I'm going to change the decoration as well, because yesterday I fell in love with this designer series paper here, which is this one here from the upcoming catalogue, the Perfectly Penciled designer series paper, and it is just all black and white. So it's perfect for a little bit of adult colouring in, which is exactly what I've done with this card here. I don't know if you saw, I shared it on my Facebook page yesterday. So I'm basically going to make this card here using this designer series paper and some different flowers, because the flowers from the which is this one, from the colour and contour, couldn't quite match this. I like to have all my designs matching, and these flowers wouldn't have matched these flowers here, which part of me just wouldn't let me do. But anyway, so yeah, so I'll put all the measurements and everything on my website, so don't worry too much about those. It's fairly simple, not a lot of complicated numbers there, but yeah. So let's see how we go. I haven't actually made the revised design yet, so let's see how we go doing it together. So as I say, I'm going to stick to this designer series paper combination colours, because I've already coloured that in. So I'm going to do the same on another piece here, just to show you. I've already started. I didn't want to have you guys to sit here watching me hand colour a piece of designer series paper. Probably would have been worse than watching paint dry. But so this is the piece that I've started, and I'll just do this little corner just to show you how it's done, although I'm sure many of you have done lots and lots more colouring than me over the years. So I've got my dark fresh freesia here. So it's a combination of fresh freesia, soft succulent, and the background is actually my light pool party, because it's actually a white background on the actual designer series paper. But I've actually, once the main colouring's done, I'm actually going in and colouring in the background with my pool party. Okay, so with my dark fresh freesia, I'm just going to pop in, and as is wonderful with so many of our designer series papers, or the stamps, etc., etc., it tells you where the dark bits are. So basically you just follow what the paper or what the stamp tells you to do. So you don't have to be a great artist, thankfully, because I'm definitely not. Okay, so I've just popped the dark, oh, missed one, the dark fresh freesia into the parts that the paper is telling me should be dark. Then I'm just going to blend in with my light, and the pencil marks, or the pencil, the design of these little flowers is a little bit imprecise on purpose, so that the lines aren't exactly, they sort of duplicate each other and sort of slightly off, making a hodgepodge of this. They're slightly, yeah, the pencil lines are slightly go over each other, so the colouring doesn't have to be overly precise, because they're sort of like the edges are sort of not precise either. So my camera's having a better time trying to focus in on out today, which is good to see. So now I've got my dark, soft succulent, and I'm just again going to follow the lead of the paper and just pop some dark bits in. And no prizes for guessing, then I will come in. I'll come in with my light. Okay. So this is what I'm going to be using instead of designer series paper to make the rest of our card today. So this paper has lots and lots of flowery designs for you to colour in. It's got one with larger flowers, if you like a larger design. So same sorts of flowers, but they're in larger bunches. And then there's some really little delicate ones as well, which are really cute. So probably a little bit too fiddly for me. I'm more of a big picture girl. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I've got my pool party here, which is looking like it needs to be well and truly replaced after many years of service. And I'm just going to colour in, and this is like so rough because it tends to merge in to the edges anyway, but I wanted the background to be, you know, sort of like a sort of a patchy, blotchy sky in the background. I didn't want it to be precise. But as I say, it tends to merge. The blends are wonderful. They tend to find their own level anyway. And that's basically all I'm doing. So I'll bring that in a little bit closer for you to have a look. That is the colouring. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use for my designer series paper to finish our card today. Here we are. Okay, cool. Okay, so obviously now I've used the pool party as a background on the designer series paper, so I'm going to use pool party for the card as well. So I'll just bring back the one that I put on my Facebook page. This is the paper from the hand-penned flowers bundle, which is going to be retiring very, very soon. So that's the paper there. And the flowers, as I mentioned, are from, just if you really, really love it and you wanted to do it yourself, from Colour and Contour. So there you are. And the flowers themselves are stamped in Pale Papaya, and the other one is Cajun Craze, I think. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, Calypso Coral, sorry. The darker one is Calypso Coral, and the light one is Cajun Pale Papaya. So if you love that one, it's pretty easy. You just follow this instructions. Okay, so we've got a card base here. So it's a long card base rather than a wide one. It's 4 1/8 wide and 11 inches long. I've scored it at 5.5. Okay, so scored it there. You can imagine it used to have a I haven't got the triangle left. I've tidied up my desk already. Used to be a sort of a full card base there. So once you decide where the front is, you basically grab your trimmer and you trim a triangle. So from the left hand top down to the right hand bottom, and that's where you get our triangle gate, I suppose you would call it. I can see some familiar names jumping on. Thanks, guys. It's so funny, my iPad's not showing me my comments, but my computer is, so that's okay. Okay, so we've got that. That's our open gate there for our triangle fold. Might actually give that a bit of a burnish. That's nice and sharp. Okay, so now this is where our beautiful paper comes into play. I'm going to have to trim it down a wee bit because I've cut this piece a tiny bit big. So I'm going to trim it down to, just make sure I've got that side right. So it's 4 inches wide. So I'm going to trim it down to, where's my trimmer? I'll trim it down to what's 5.5, take 1/8 of an inch, 5 3/8. So I don't think there's any particular end I want to trim off, but I'll just trim that down to 5 3/8. Only a wee bit to come off there. Okay, trimmer, you go over there. Okay, so that's our designer series paper there that's going to go on the front. So same sort of thing. I'm going to have to cut, as much as it's going to break my heart, I'm going to have to cut my designer series paper in half. So be careful when you do this because you want your triangles to be the same orientation. If I absent-mindedly cut from that corner to that corner, I'm going to find that my triangles don't line up and the paper will want to be flipped over, and obviously we don't want to flip it over because that's not where the pattern is. So I have to find it where I want it and cut from the top left to the bottom right. I can remember to do that even in this split second. So right from corner to corner, grab my trimmer and cut the designer series paper. As I say, as much as that breaks my heart. But there it is, it's done. So the front triangle obviously is going to sit on the front, the little triangle that we have cut out of our card front. So that's going to pop on there. The other one is going to pop on the back. So when you look at the card closed, they shouldn't look very much different to, you know, sort of a straight piece of designer series paper. But obviously when you open it up, that's where the magic happens. So I'll grab some glue. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Jan. Did I see Vicky jumping on as well? Very excited at the moment. I'm flying for the first time in, oh my goodness, well, since before the pandemic. I think the last time I flew was when I went to Sydney with my parents just at the beginning of the pandemic before we went into lockdown. So it's the best part of 2 years. Yeah, so first time I've flown, and it's I'm flying to Canberra tomorrow to spend some time with Jan, who's just said hello from Canberra, and Vicky, and Jenny and Fran and all the other Canberra girls. I keep saying to my husband that I'm big in Canberra. He just laughs at that. But yes, I am headed to Canberra to spend some time, and that's where I'm going to be, and that's why I have pre-recorded my video, my normal Saturday morning video, because I have no idea what they'll have me doing on Saturday morning. We might be recovering from Friday night. Who knows? Who knows? It's going to be fun. The only thing that's got me slightly worried is from a gap of not travelling for so long, that the plane that I've booked myself on is one of the little prop ones. It's the one that does sort of the regional areas here in Australia, the little regional airline, because Tassie's obviously a regional capital. And yeah, so I'm told, Jan tells me that it's perfectly safe. So I'm trusting you, Jan, that I'm going to be okay on this tiny little plane. Okay, so there we are. So that's our little card front there. Okay, so there's our beautiful hand-coloured flowers there, tragically cut in half. Okay, so let's keep going. So as I said, with this one here, the original card, this little sort of mini card opens on the right hand side. As I say, I'm not overly keen on the way that um, works on display. So this one, I've done it so it sort of opens at the top and it flaps down. So it could be a complete disaster. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so that's what I've done. So this is either way, it's going to make a 4 by 3 inch card. So the other one was an 8-inch by 3-inch piece of cardstock scored. So this is sort of the other way around. This is a 6 by 4 and it's scored at the top. So if you can imagine, this is going to sit just in there, and sort of this little triangle is going to interweave with it. So it is very important where you pop this little one so that the two will interweave with each other when it's closed. There's no point me putting it all the way up there. If you can imagine, it's not going to sit flat if it's like way up there, and it's not going to sit flat if it's all the way up there. So we need it sort of in the center with the corners of your little mini card lined up with the edge that you created with the triangle, if that makes sense. And it will travel along there until you get it in the center, sort of roughly center like that. And again, it's breaking my heart because we're covering over my beautiful flowers. But okay, what I might do is just glue that in because I'm pretty happy with that positioning. So the corners are in line with the edge of your triangle, if that makes sense. So we're going to glue that in. I'm quite happy to glue that in now. So that's just a basic white 4 by 3. And she says, trying to remember where she had it before. Could be that if Julie's on, she mentioned a lady who takes pictures of her cards. I might need to become that lady. Might make my videos go for a little bit longer than normal. But anyway, so that's pretty good. So that is central all the way around, reasonably straight, and it folds flat with those two sort of it folds flat when it's down. So this one's actually, when it sits open, is going to sit open more like that than the other one. Or you keep that in and have it sit flat like that, have it like that, which to me is a bit neater than the side fold of the other one. So we've got our little mini card in place there. So now we just need to decorate that. Okay, so what I have is a layer of, so keep in mind this is a 4 by 3 little mini card. I then have a 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 piece of Pool Party, which is going to go over the top of that. And I'm actually going to decorate a little piece of basic white, which is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that sits over that like that. So I searched around my little stamp stash, and I was trying to find, as I say, I like my flowers to match. So I wanted something that had roughly that sort of flower on it, that sort of pencil drawn round sort of flower. And I came across the Free as a Bird stamp set, which tragically is retiring at the end of this month. So yeah, so if you like it, and it's on a huge discount here in Australia at the moment. Can't remember, I did look at it, what it actually was. So if you love this stamp set, it is retiring and it's on special, it's on sale. So pop onto the website and have a little look at that, but I'll put a link to it. Excuse me, I'll put a link to it in the same where I put the measurements. So what I'm going to do is grab that little piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to grab the little birds, or little branch with some birds on it from the stamp set, and get some black ink. And there's going to be a little bit more colouring in happening. So I'm going to put these little guys. So they're slightly longer than the piece of white cardstock, but I would definitely want to have this end completely on the design. So I'm going to let this end go off the edge slightly, and I'll cover it with some smoke and mirrors once we're done. So there we are. As I say, I wanted that leaf on, and I didn't mind too much what happened at the other end. So I'm going to colour these little birds, and I don't know if it is biologically correct, but I'm going for a little bird that is light cake crumb around the edges and his wings. So if someone out there is a bird person, a bird watcher, and they look at it and go, Julianne, there is no such bird in the universe that has this colouring. I beg your forgiveness, but you know, a bit of artistic license is where we're going here. So I'm doing them all. They're a little family together with light crumb cake around the edges. Birds come in all colours. Yes, of course they do, Vicky. But we might be pushing it a bit far because they're going to have pool party tummies. And that is purely just to fit in with the colours of my card. I've probably created my own species. And the pool party is really cool in the fact that it blends really well. That same property that we talked about before with the blending into the background. Yes, it's definitely works a treat with our little birds. I don't know if you're seeing that as well as you possibly could. Yeah, the iPad looks okay, but they are sort of definitely brown around the edges, and they have little blue bellies, sort of roughly bellies. I wasn't particularly central with their bellies. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the little flowers and leaves, as I said, they were very similar to the flowers and leaves from the Designer Series paper. So I'm just going to colour them exactly the same way. So with the fresh freesia. Okay. And then the leaves are going to be soft succulent. So I'm just doing them in dark, the dark versions of each of those. There's so little, probably not a lot of blending to be done. Excuse me. And the branch that they're sitting on, I've just got my dark, dark crumb cake, and I'm just going to do a little branch just in that. Okay. Oh, and their beaks. I'm going to do the little brown beaks as well. Okay. Sorry that that's so far away. It looks like my camera's not zooming in as well as it could do, as well as it has done. Got a little bit further up. So I use the same thing for the same setup for my Zoom meetings, and for some reason the Zoom, obviously because it's called Zoom, zooms in. So I always have to fiddle with my setup when I swap back to my lives. Okay, so in addition to what I've got here, I have actually in the stamp set, it has some little individual flowers. So I've actually already stamped and fussy cut a couple of those little ones out. I'm just going to sort of supplement my my little scene here with some other flowers. So I'll get those out. Come on, guys. And also, because there was a little off cut here of the Designer Series paper, I've actually fussy cut and coloured one of the original flowers from my designer series paper as well. So I'm going to use that also, just to sort of pad out this front, give it a little bit more things happening. So this little flower here, I'm going to pop it there so it looks like it's just coming off that leaf just there. And these other little guys, I'm going to use one of them to cover over the fact that I missed off the end of that branch, and I'm just going to pop the other one sort of along here, or at the end, side, the end, I think, just at the end. And I'm actually going to pop those onto some dimensionals just to give them a bit of oomphiness. That's a crafting word, oomphiness. I've just made it up. So we'll go one there, that big one, and then I don't know if I'm going to need little ones. Might need little ones for the others. Oh. They're a tiny bit. I wonder if the big ones will work. Let's see. You know, guys know I prefer big dimensionals to little dimensionals. I'm a bit ham-fisted. So I'll put one little guy there and another one at the end. Okay, so there we have our little birds there. They look a bit lonely there all by themselves, but we'll put some sentiments on, and I'm sure it'll fill in some of the space, and then we'll bring in some bling as well. So, oh no, what's happened there? The cardboard has stuck back. There we go, that's all right. So I've got from the stamp set, and as I say, this is a retiring one, so if you love it, pop online and grab it before it goes. It's got its tiny little hello there. So I'm just going to pop that up here, just above our wee birds. There we are. And then there is, in the same sort of blocky type, thanks for being you. And I'm going to pop that just on the bottom right hand corner, just below our little birds. About there. Can't get in the way of my flower. There we are. The hello went a little bit pale at the end there, but that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so thanks for being you, and I'll pop something appropriate on the inside as well. So we'll layer this up now and pop it onto our card. I'm going to pop it onto the pool party mat that we cut, and then onto our card. I haven't used any ribbon or anything like this on this one, basically because I couldn't work out where to put it with all the angles and things. But I'll put some bling as well. So there, he's going to sit on the front of the card like that, which I think is really sweet. I suppose the ribbon could have gone there, but I just don't think there's enough room for the ribbon as well. There is a beautiful, absolutely glorious pool party ribbon, which thankfully is continuing. It's the one I've used on this original card, and it's just got such shimmer and sheer shimmer. It's glorious. So grab that one if you're online doing some shopping. But thankfully we'll be able to keep using that one because it's a continuing item. Okay, so there we have our little birds sitting on their little mini card with the triangle coming across the front there like that. Now some bling, we'll use some bling. I've got my iridescent gems here, which are my go-to bling. I'll pop some of that on. I wonder how that would go if I popped one in the center of that flower. Cute. I wonder if I could do all the flowers. That's my 3 bling there. I usually stick to 3. Yeah, that works. I like that. So we've got some bling on our little front leaves there. That's cute. That's so cute. Okay, so we can pop a sentiment or maybe a little image or something on the inside here. So what have we got? We've got hello, thanks for being you. Your friendship means the world to me. I'll pop that on the inside as well. Your friendship means the world to me. my wonderful Canberra friends. It seems like I'm making this with you guys in mind, because it does. Your friendship means the world to me. I'm going to pop that just in there. Hopefully straight, because I don't think that sticker's on straight. There we are. And I wonder we could bring in some, there's a flower here. I'm making this up as I go along, can you tell? There's a bigger flower, a bigger version of the flower, which I might pop inside as well. I haven't put the sticker in this one. I think that'll do. Don't overdo it, Julianne. You know, you guys know what I'm like. You need to stop me before I go too far. But I will colour in that flower. Okay. So that's the inside done, or as much as I'm going to do. And there's our little card there. So that's using the designer series paper, which I've hand coloured. So hopefully you like that one. Yeah, I think it's really nice. You know, you guys know I am a blue girl. Not that you can see, it's a very subtle blue from what I'm seeing on the camera. But anyway, so for something a little bit brighter, we've got our one here with our pale papaya and our contour, colour and contour stamp set. So tell me which one. I won't be offended. Tell me which one you like best, because I made both of them, so that's okay. I'm invested in both. And also I think I prefer it opening this way. You guys tell me what you think. I think it's neater than opening that way when it's open. Somebody just honked their horn. I hope I haven't. No, that's fine. I'm watching my dad, as I say, I'm taking my dad to his CT scan, but he has he insisted on driving, so it's really, I have to, actually I realise I haven't done the centres. The centres of these little flowers that I have totally missed, I did with some soft saffron, but that's okay. It just looked a bit blank there, but only I could see. So yeah, so that's my card for you today, a midweek stamping, crafting. Hopefully you enjoyed those and give them a bit of a go. Really nice little design. I love them when they're closed. I love that sort of diagonal cut through there, and I think they're quite pretty when they're open as well. They've just got that little bit of added dimension also. So yeah, there we go. So that's my cards for today. And of course we've got the beautiful hand coloured designer series paper there as well. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for joining me. 33 minutes, pretty good for a midweek. I'll go and have my shower and get ready to head out this afternoon or later this morning. So, okay, have a great day. I will chat to you all over the weekend, and I will see my Canberra ladies tomorrow afternoon. So, see you guys.